Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski. I am your co-host from the East Coast. That makes me the co-host with the most from the coast with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A Views, conservative news. And Craig, guess what day it is?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Yes, folks, it is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend anew. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not, but then again, the fun is all in the trying. So, Mikey, how is your attempt to begin the weekend? How's your weekend going thus far?
Oh, I'm good. I'm half lit, Craig. I started day drinking earlier today. I'm really good.
You're just half lit?
Well, I'm coming down off of it right now.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Actually, mine has actually started off quite well. Truth be told, I actually started on Tuesday.
Oh, you got a late start this week. Gotcha.
Yeah, I got a late start on the weekend. But having a good time nonetheless. Once again, still freezing cold out here. Most of the country outside of Florida is experiencing a serious cool. Oh, that looks nice. Is experiencing a cool weather. Very nice. What is it? Ooh, very good. Where does that come from?
It's fighting cock. It's from the Haven Hill distillery.
Nice. Definitely something I will have to try when I'm out there in Florida. So yeah, most of the country is experiencing some cold. They're in Florida. It's probably 75 degrees.
Hold on, I'll tell you. Let's see. Current weather in Florida is.
Yeah, it's in the 30s here.
It is 71.
71 degrees. So, yeah, it was in the 30s this morning. Now it's more like the 40s. By the time the end of the day comes, it'll probably hit somewhere around the low to mid 50s. Which,
let's see. Yeah, today is a high of 71, low of 57. Now on Christmas, Greg, we're going to be 31 and 32 degrees.
Well, there you go.
That's like our coldest Christmas in like 30 years, too.
Mm-hmm. Right. With no snow, but, just cold.
They're saying maybe up in the Panhandle might get some. But hey, Craig, did you get any of that earthquake this morning?
That was actually yesterday. That earthquake was actually yesterday morning at about 2 a.m. It was on the coast, and it was a lot further north than we are. Probably, I want to say places that felt it in California, at least that are in the inland area, was probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours north of us. So like Redding, Red Bluff, yeah, that's about 2 hours north of us.
I just figured it was all in the same, greater Los Angeles.
It's all California to you, yeah. No, just like imagine people think that whatever happens in Miami is the same thing that happens there in Orlando. Yeah, no, big state.
Well, you see, that's where we're different, Greg, because I don't care what people think. So
yeah, well, just providing the clarification.
I will stop people in the middle of the conversation, like, listen, I've had enough. I'm gone. I'm out.
Yeah, not from Miami, different country. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, before we continue the conversation, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors.
Let's do it. Let's say hello to our good friends there at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you've got an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels, don't even know it. Now you can go get another one direct from the manufacturer for your next build or to rebarrel your current AR platform. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Get involved in California's future today. Make sure you look them up at California's Republican Assembly. If you want some awesome field gear, tactical gear, some cold weather gear, if you happen to be experiencing that, some wet weather gear, go to uscombatgear.com. And of course, it's not too late to get you some holsters for the new year. Tricked you there. For the new year, go to hogholsters.com, HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Best tactical concealment holsters available on the market. And give the discount code The Rundown, all one word, all caps, no spaces.
Folks, once again, these are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor. Follow the links to their websites in the description to this program. If you like what you see there, spend some money with them and make sure you tell them guys over at The Rundown sent you. Also, make sure if you have not already done so, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Let the folks know where they can watch or listen to The Rundown. Wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you like to watch your video podcasts, you will find The Rundown Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. We are putting it down right here. Help us fight the algorithms that are being put out there by the folks on the Webernets that are fighting conservatism and the right to keep and bear arms. Let your friends know where they can get the program.
There you go. Do what he said.
All right, Mikey. Let's get into today's program. All right. Yesterday, it was interesting. I had a conversation with somebody, and this was a liberal Democrat. And for the first time, it was like they were realizing that there is something going on at our southern border. It's like, what is going on? They're like, all of these people, and what are we going to do about all of this, and yada, yada, yada. And she's like, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say build a wall. I said, well, first of all, the thing you need to understand is this is something that's been going on since the beginning of the Biden presidency. So almost immediately when Joe Biden took office, people have been coming from all over the world to our southern border. And okay, Mike, hold on, Mike. I'm hearing myself coming out of your computer. And it only happens every once in a while. And there it goes. It's not doing it again. Anyway.
I think we're good. I think we just...
All right. I will start that over. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. I just...
Hold on. You do that, and every time you start over, you make your work for yourself. My response to you is always going to be something like, it's just normal, Craig. Keep rolling.
Well, no, I have to, because literally it's when I go to watch the recording, it's there. Anyway. All right. Excuse me. So yesterday I had a conversation with a friend of mine. Well, not a friend of mine, someone who I do some work with. Well, anyway, let me start again. So yesterday I had a conversation with a liberal, and we started discussing what was going on at the border. And like, oh my God, where are all these people coming from? What's the... They literally could not believe that, 2 million people last year and now 2 million people this year, that 4 million people have just walked across our border. And they're like, what are we going to do with all these people? And my first response was, well, look, this has been going on, and you guys, since your president took office, and you guys have said absolutely nothing about it. And done nothing about it. She said, well, fine. Well, so what do we do? I said, well, the first thing we have to do is we have to shut off the border. We need to make a show of force at the border. We need the administration to be strong and letting people know, look, if you decide you're going to try and come into this country, it's not happening. I said, we need to send the National Guard to the border. We need to put up barriers. And lo and behold, guess what was happening right there in Texas? That's right. Armed Texas National Guards making a show of force on the border to turn back migrants. The thing, Mike, is, first of all, I'm wondering, so you've got this happening here. You've also got in other places, in other states, they're also putting up the containers like Governor Ducey was doing there in Arizona. You've got them putting up the containers. And my response to all of this was... well, first of all, this is the sort of stuff we need to be doing. And then my second response was, why weren't we doing this? Oh, I don't know, 3.5 million illegal immigrants ago.
Well, I think a lot of this, Craig, like you said, it all did start with the Biden administration. I think a lot of this is the governors have been doing everything they can. They've been trying to do everything they can. They keep getting lied to by the White House. The White House telling them that this is what they're going to be doing and that they're going to be stopping. And we know we've seen, Texas and California, Texas and Arizona and New Mexico doing this, trying to, stop the influx of people along their southern border. And they finally just ramped it up. They're like, okay, our government has completely ignored us. We're just going to take matters into our own hands to defend our own states. Governor Abbott there, under his own state constitution, U.S. Constitution, has decided to defend his own border because the federal government is ignoring his request for help.
So I was watching a report, and one of the things that they were talking about was how, like, even though the Texas National Guard will do this, like they put up this razor wire, right? And what they were saying was that the U.S. border agents, because of the way the law is written, once they enter the Rio Grande, they then become, they said, our responsibility. So that's when you literally had border agents who were who were using their boots and whatnot to push down some of the razor wire and whatnot in order to make sure that immigrants coming into didn't get injured by the razor wire. And I'm just like, this is the very definition of counterproductive. If that's the law, then we need to change the law. If it's not the law, then we need to figure out a way to re-educate some of these folks. I mean, here's the thing. Ultimately, nobody wants to see people get hurt, but you got to provide some sort of a deterrent, a discouragement to keep people from coming. You can't say, look, we're going to give you food, we're going to give you housing, we're going to give you money, we're going to give you free education, we're going to give you free health care. Oh, by the way, our border is closed. But come on in. But our border's closed.
Yeah, listen, Craig, I'm sure there's some kind of policy there under this administration that they've given to, Border Patrol that says, if these people end up injured while in your custody, whether it's something you did or something they did, you're going to be held responsible. You'll be disciplined. You'll be suspended. Whatever it happens to be. That concertina wire is on their side, so they were responsible to make sure they weren't cut. If you'll notice here, though, you've got the National Guard not touching that razor wire. It's the Border Patrol that is doing it.
I am dumbfounded. Once again, what's the point of having armed people there if you're not actually going to enforce the law? The reason why people are coming is because there is no deterrent. And what was funny was that this person that I was talking with was like, well, you can't just be mean. I'm like, look, it was people across the world realize that, I ain't messing with Donald Trump. They're like, Donald Trump will enforce the border. And the problem is nobody believes that Joe Biden will. Nobody believes that they will. So unless you show some sort of resolve that you are going to enforce your borders, everybody is going to ignore them. And when I say everybody, once again, I feel kind of bad because Mexico gets kind of the brunt of the complaints, but the reality is there are people from all over the world that are coming in through our southern border.
Yeah, it's over 50% are not Mexicans that are coming in from down there. We looked up those stats the other day. But listen, Greg, I think it's time for Governor Abbott to step up. Listen, he's just been reelected. You have to continue to fight with the Biden administration. I would take those National Guard. By the way, the National Guard, when they're activated under the state for state duty, they have full law enforcement powers as well. It's under the state statutes for law enforcement. I would tell my National Guard that you stop everybody coming across the border. And if you see Border Patrol agents like this assisting in it, you arrest them, put them on a separate bus, and you give them the option. I'll send you to Mexico or I'll send you out of Texas, but that's where you're going. You're leaving this state. You're not going to come in here and violate Texas law.
Pretty much. That's exactly what I would do. I think that idea has a lot of merit to it. Because once again, if we're not serious about enforcing our laws, they don't have no requirement to be serious about actually living by them or obeying them. Anyway,
can you bring that last photo back up again? The last picture you had there. Folks, I say it's arrest the Border Patrol there. The reason and how do you arrest them is I see 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I see a platoon of infantry with machine guns versus one Border Patrol with a Glock. That's how you arrest them.
Take them into custody. Say, sorry about that, bruh. Look, you You are going to be deported right along with these. So you can either, once again, you can decide which border of the state of Texas you wish to be taken to.
That's it. That's it.
I could take you to Mexico, or I could take you to one of the other states.
That's it. And if you're a really good swimmer, I'll take you east.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, moving right along. Speaking of the border, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has put a hold on Title 42. Now, you might recall Title 42 is the it's the one that basically says has to do with COVID-19 and infection, and basically allows them to hold people at the border. In other words, not allow people who might be contagious with COVID-19, prevent them from being able to come into the country. It's being used right now as almost an alternative to the Remain in Mexico policy. But it is about to expire, or was about to expire, and now it appears that the Chief Justice is going to hold it off until after Christmas. And Mike, I'm just trying to figure this out. It's like, look, number one, if using a law like this is what we're going to use to keep people from coming into the country illegally, I'm like, whatever happened to I don't know, it being illegal to come into the country illegally? That issue number one. But then on the top of it, I'm like, we also have this policy that the president used before him called the Remain in Mexico policy. And you've got the president right now, the current president, who's trying to get rid of that policy, has not been allowed to get rid of that policy. I don't understand why the Remain in Mexico policy is not enough. Why do we need Title 42?
First off, listen, Title 42 had some great songs in the 80s. I wish they were still around making music, but now they're just in politics, I guess. You have them doing the, John Roberts here, suspending the injunction to pause. So the title's kind of a little confusing. It makes it almost sound like he's allowing immigration. What he did was he stopped the injunction against Title 42, so Title 42 could still be enforced there at the border. Craig, it's the same answer as last story. This is the Biden administration, the current White House, going to do anything they can. It doesn't matter if it is the Remain in Mexico policy that Trump was using, or any other reason that they come up with. They are going to allow all these new Democrat voters to come into this country and give them checks to do so.
You know what they're finding, though, is that a lot of these folks who are coming in they're not going to be Democrat voters. Many of them are coming in from communist countries, and they recognize socialists and communists and tyrants when they see them. In fact, what we're seeing as immigration is ramping up, we're actually seeing a lot of the Latino voters are actually breaking 50-50 for Republicans. So, no, it ain't. I'm like, they that may be their plan, but it don't appear to be working like that.
You're correct, and we see that a lot with those numbers with the legal immigrants that come in. However, Craig, if you're sitting there across the desk from the intake officer, the INS officer, and they tell you something like, where do we mail your checks to? That's the same place you're going to be getting your ballots mailed to. Remember who wrote you these checks when it's time to vote. You're gonna
I don't know that the conversation is being had like that, exactly like that, but it would not surprise me.
Yeah. Listen, brand new coming to this country, you can tell them anything you want, right? You can make up all the lies you want. As far as they know, it's true.
Yep. That'd be the truth. That'd be the truth. All right. Mayor Garcetti, former Los Angeles Mayor Garcetti, is in line to be appointed, or at least has been nominated to be the ambassador to India. But interestingly, unlike what would happen with any Republican, there are sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Garcetti. But the interesting part is, Mike, is that it doesn't appear to be slowing down his nomination one bit. They're not even. They literally are not even. They're not even allowing it to be a speed bump in the nomination process for the former mayor of Los Angeles. I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, listen. Again, it's okay if their party's the one, waving the weenie flag or whatever it is they do up there, and allowing these sexual harassments. And we know of many instances, not with the Garcetti there, where people were active participants and are still welcomed by the party. So why should Garcetti, being a sexual harassment enabler, be a halt to them? Listen, how many times you're going to watch the president getting all gropey with some under 18 young girl? It's clearly okay for them.
Well, once again, what's good enough for rules for thee and not for me is pretty much what we're talking about here. And I'm looking here. So it says here the matter Jean-Pierre referred to is pending lawsuit against Rick Jacobs, Garcetti's former chief of staff. Jacobs is being accused of sexual harassment in the form of inappropriate comments, unwanted kissing and touching, and sexual advances against a male LAPD officer assigned to Garcetti's detail. Oh, so this isn't even like this is like a male? Wow. Okay.
Well, it's California. They don't care. It's not a big deal. And also, I wanted to add that being the ambassador to India, I can't think of a more qualifying job than having been the mayor of Los Angeles. Clearly, that qualifies him to be the ambassador to India.
You mean because of overpopulation and poverty, and he knows how to he'll be in a place that he's used to.
Well, those all apply. Excellent points. I'm just thinking, oh, you're the mayor of a big city that has a giant Hispanic influence. We're going to send you to India. But how do they relate? Is that just India,
All right, Mike, this next story, Joe Biden basically made a, I'll let you listen to the comment, and then it's causing a bit of an uproar. It basically is an anti-Irish comment, but anyway, I'll let you guys listen to it, and we'll talk about it on the flip side.
I may be Irish, but I'm not stupid. I married Dominic Giacoppa's daughter, so, I got a little Italian in me now,
Now, Mike, he got away with that because Irish are because Irish are white, that it's okay to be amongst the liberals. It's okay to be racist against Irish.
He's an old fool at this point. He's spouting off like everybody's racist grandpa now. He's just he's reverting back to his days in the 60s when he was all anti civil rights movement. He doesn't care. Listen, folks, look up the history of the Irish in America as well. It came over, the majority just over was about 110 years ago now, with during the potato famine of all things, and that's a real thing. It's not a joke. They came over during the potato famine, and for many, many years there throughout the Northeast, the Irish were discriminated against. In fact, signs, you can still Google it up now and find signs in storefront windows that said "Help Wanted, Irish Need Not Apply." So here he is, bringing up some former, national origin hate against the Irish here. So it's just, guys, and now he's trying to tell me he's Italian too. I guess he's had enough, pasta and sauce to say now he's Italian. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, other than he needs to go.
I'll tell you, it's like I said, it's funny because if he had said something like that about black people or Latino people or trans people or anybody else that's part of a protected class, the people would be losing their. Well, no, let me clarify. He can say that if a Republican had said anything like that, they would be. It would be all over the media. But then again, Joe Biden saying stupid stuff is no longer news.
Right. Yeah. It's not like he said anything like, if you're black and vote for Donald Trump, you're not really black. It's not like he said anything like that.
Right. Or if you're black and you don't vote and you don't know if you're going to vote for me, then you're not really black. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, he didn't say anything racist like that.
No,
or did he?
No. Nope, nope. They didn't say anything about how all the colored kid likes the color kids like the blonde hair on his legs. Didn't say anything about that.
And that brings us to our parting shots. That's right. Our parting shot is brought to you by Hog Holsters. That's hogholsters.com. Go there, get yourself get yourself a holster, and make sure that you use the discount code The Rundown. All one word, all caps. This first one should, Mike, keep us in the holiday or the Christmas spirit. It kind of goes along with, that last comment by Joe Biden, which, by the way, was meant to be a joke. I know it wasn't meant to be racist. I just get mad because, he wasn't supposed to. Anyway, if one of us had said it, it'd be, would be racist. But anyway, you want to go ahead and describe this one to the folks?
Sure. It's the little elf kid from the Rudolph the Reindeer story with Hermie. Right? Isn't that?
That's Hermie and
Hermie's
Rudolph.
Hermie's the elf kid. Hermie's the elf kid. So it's
Yeah.
Hermie talking to Rudolph. There we go. It says, "What does offended mean, Hermie?" Rudolph's asking, and he says, "Offended is when people have too much free time on their hands, so they go on social media to gripe about something completely harmless in an attempt to suck the joy from the rest of us."
That's pretty much it, folks. That's offense like that is, for example, is the reason why you can't make a movie like Blazing Saddles today. Why you can't do shows like the Dave Chappelle show, right? Stuff like that.
Craig, I'm sorry. You could try and make a nice Western like Blazing Saddles, but Alec Baldwin would kill you.
Yeah, true that. Of course, it depends on how fast of a draw he is.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
He would definitely try. All right, and our next parting shot is actually kind of talks about the reason for the season and how we've kind of forgotten that. There was actually a study that was recently done that 84% of people have really forgotten the reason for the season. In fact, that's what this meme kind of speaks to. You have one gentleman who's saying, the year is 2022. Christianity is no longer relevant. Right? And then the other guy looks at him and says, 2022 years since what? And now you've got the other guy who's got that look of consternation on his face, angry. And the other guy says, Merry Christmas. Folks, let us not forget the reason for the season is the baby Jesus.
You ever notice that the look of consternation is almost the same as the look of constipation?
It is. Because you know why? Because they're full of crap.
That's exactly right. There you go.
That pretty much is the definition of the left.
Yep.
All right, Mike, before we call it a day, let's go ahead and give that final shout out to our sponsors.
Yes, let's say good day to our friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. You can get yourself any AR barrel you want, rifle and pistol calibers available, rifle and pistol lengths available. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, again, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Help make a difference in California's future today. Get involved. If you want some awesome cold weather gear, field gear, tactical gear, hunting gear, hiking gear, whatever it happens to be, go to uscombatgear.com.
Folks, once again, these are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Visit them by following the links in the description to this program and let them know that the guys over at The Rundown sent you. We once again very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We'll be back tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday. Till then, you guys have a good time.